Musk confronted Don Lemon for pushing what he calls a damaging woke ideology, citing the homelessness crisis as the ultimate proof. Elon said it is harming the entire United States because it punishes freedom of speech. It tries to unfairly police culture instead of creating anything real. He said that Lemon tried to do CNN, but on social media, and that format does not work. Tonight we are going to walk through what Musk said, and how California's growing homelessness crisis is the clearest scoreboard of failure and proves Musk's point about the ideology that Lemon tries to propagate. According to Elon Musk, Lemon's show didn't feel authentic. He said it sounded like Jeff Zucker talking through Don Lemon, not the real Don. He even joked, "We dodged a lemon." But here's the important part. Musk still told Lemon he could build an audience on X like anyone else. That is the difference between them. Musk says platforms should be open and honest, while Lemon defends the same old rules dressed up as virtue. Musk calls that set of rules a damaging woke ideology because it punishes speech, sorts people by labels, and replaces results with slogans. Now let's get concrete, because Musk always drags this fight back to visible reality. He points at California and San Francisco. He says the streets tell the truth. California's homelessness rate is among the highest in America, about 48 people per 10,000 residents, more than double the national rate, and below New York's 81 per 10,000, largely because New York shelters far more people. California's own data shows the scale. In 2024, 355,486 people accessed homelessness housing and services statewide. That is not a one-night snapshot, that is an annual flow of human beings through the system. San Francisco did report 13% fewer people sleeping outdoors in 2024 compared to 2022. Los Angeles County's 2025 count dipped around 4% from its 2023 peak, with a 9.5% drop in unsheltered homelessness and an 8.5% rise in sheltered placements. Those improvements matter, but the scale is still massive, and the streets still show the damage. California remains second highest in the share of homeless who are individuals, a pattern that often tracks with higher unsheltered rates in warmer climate states. Musk's point is simple. If your ideas are working, the scoreboard should scream it. It doesn't. Back to the clash with Don Lemon. Lemon pressed Musk on hate speech, DEI, and the so-called Great Replacement theory. Musk pushed back the same way he always does. He said social media must run on one rule: equal speech rules for everyone, and sunlight beats censorship. He brought back banned accounts, including Donald Trump, because he said that platforms cannot referee politics. To Musk, censorship hides problems instead of solving them, and he argues that this harmful ideology is the reason people no longer trust media gatekeepers. The data on trust backs that up. Only about a third of Americans still trust mainstream media. People sense the double standards. One set of rules for insiders, another set for everyone else. Musk says that it is the core of the toxic woke framework. Labels and gatekeepers on top, accountability and results at the bottom. California is Exhibit A. If the rules worked, you would not see tents under overpasses year after year. You would not see storefronts boarded up. You would not watch these same press conferences announcing the same plans with the same outcomes. There's another layer that Musk won't ignore: fairness and merit. He said forced outcomes dressed as DEI can turn into quotas that punish competence. DEI means people die. He posted when first responders were pulled into that debate. His point was not that diversity is bad, his point was that enforced ideology and critical systems can break performance and trust. And trust is what a city lives on. You cannot run emergency services or schools or social programs if the public doesn't trust the rules. When the rules move with politics, everything else starts to wobble. Now let's talk about how the numbers actually work, because this is where the spin usually wins. A one-night count in January, the pit count, measures people in shelters and outdoors on that single night. It misses those who moved into rapid rehousing or permanent supportive housing, and it can undercount people sleeping in hidden places. That's why California also tracks yearly service through HDIS, the system that recorded 355,486 people moving through housing and services in 2024. The scoreboard is not one number, but the scoreboard still screams one thing. The crisis is huge, and policy theater has not solved it. Musk's policy instinct is predictable. Stop paying for process, start paying for results. You can see it in the way that he builds companies. The company ships, then iterates. He wants the same in the public space. He has even pushed a plan that he calls the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, to expose waste in what he labels the homelessness industrial complex. The idea is to redirect billions away from bureaucracy into programs that actually move people indoors for good, instead of just managing the crisis endlessly. Now, agree or disagree, that is the focus on outcomes that he keeps returning to. So why did Musk end the X deal with Don Lemon after one taping? Because he said it wasn't a real debate, it was cable TV repackaged. CNN, but on social media. In his words, cable thrives on control, segments, filters, friendly panels, and safe treatment for favored guests. Social media thrives on raw, live, unfiltered conversation. If you bring cable habits to a free square, people tune out. Musk wants people to argue and test each other's claims in public. He says that is the only way to fix the cultural rot that keeps producing terrible outcomes in places like California. There's also a justice piece in the data that gets lost. Black Californians make up about 7% of the state, but close to 29% of those accessing homelessness services. The state's own homelessness council says that racial inequities in homelessness are inextricably linked. Musk's argument is not that labels fix that. His argument is that labels often hide it. Bureaucracies get good at reporting their concern and terrible at delivering change. If you care about outcomes, you measure outcomes. If you care about people, you get them indoors, you keep them safe, you connect them with treatment, and then get them back to work. The numbers should actually change. Now, let's bring it back to the street level. In San Francisco, even with the recent 13% drop in unsheltered counts, you still see open-air suffering. Shop owners still watch foot traffic vanish. Parents still avoid blocks. In Los Angeles, over 72,000 people are still counted on a single January night. These are not abstract debates about words, these are human lives. To Musk, this is what a damaging woke ideology does. It confuses moral language with moral action, then calls anyone who notices hateful. He says that's upside down. Moral action is results. You either help people exit the street or you didn't. Don Lemon pushes the opposite vibe. He frames moderation and speech controls as care. He frames DEI rules as progress. He frames hard questions about policy as cruelty. Musk sees that as a trap. He says that speech is how we test claims, not how we signal virtue. That is why he told Lemon, build your audience here without the cable filters like everyone else. Bring your best arguments, let people decide. If your ideas work, the numbers will prove it. California's homelessness crisis is how Musk says we should judge these ideas, not by press releases, but by outcomes. There is one more detail about the counts that matters. States with large sheltered systems can report higher rates because they actually pull people inside and count them. California historically has a very high share of unsheltered individuals. Warmer climate is a factor, but policy is too. This is why Musk keeps pushing for measurable, transparent targets. Fewer tents outdoors, more people housed stably. Fewer overdoses, and faster time from outreach to placement. If a plan cannot deliver those, it's noise. And if a media brand cannot discuss those trade-offs honestly, he sees it as a distraction from delivering real results. The split with Don Lemon is not personal. Musk is blunt about that. He said Lemon can run his content on X. He just refused to brand it as a platform show because it felt like old media using new pipes. And that is the bigger lesson. Musk wants the public square to act like a pressure test. Lemon wanted the public square to act like a padded studio. When you pad the conversation, the street never changes. When you pressure test ideas in public, bad ideas crack fast. That's the bet behind X. Messy speech, hard numbers, and real results.